They always say, you know, you have to go through something to know where you came from or where you're going and who you are. It's true.
You know, you just gotta go with the punches. You know, things happen for a reason. I'm just glad I'm still alive right now, you know, and just trying to live day for day.
Life is about speed, a fast break, a quick decision, or moments that pass in slow motion. Rodney Rogers knows all too well the twists and turns that life brings you.
It's my life, so if I want to stay down and let myself go down, then that's what I'll do. But if I want to try to fight this thing and try to be able to walk again, I gotta fight. I got a long fight ahead of me, that's all.
Rodney Rogers started fighting from the day he was born.
Well, it was rough at first. You know, I grew up in a housing project called MacDougal Terrace. You had to fend for yourself. You know, a lot of drugs, shooting, always fighting.
Rodney kind of took care of himself, and a lot of people don't know that. He was from house to house a lot of times.
Despite his struggles, Rogers quickly made a name for himself as a basketball and baseball player, soon becoming known as the Durham Bull.
Durham Bull just always stuck with me because in basketball I was just dominating. And you know, everybody used to come from everywhere and say we want to see the Durham Bull play.
First time I met him, I was in Durham working out. This high school kid walks in and he's chiseled. I mean, shoulders look like Mack truck. I'm like, who the heck is this? Oh, this is local phenom Rodney Rogers.
That local phenom decided to head down the road to Wake Forest, and it didn't take long for the people to see that this freshman could star in the nation's toughest conference.
You were in awe. It was just a God's gift to see him. You know, you just looked at him and you couldn't draw the body he had. I mean, his shoulders, his neck, his legs. I mean, Rodney it was just a gift from God.
He gave Wake Forest a chance to step back to the forefront. And with it, people began to realize what a great university Wake Forest was.
He was ACC Rookie of the Year in 1991, and 2 years later, the conference's Player of the Year.
That was the best 3 years of my life, you know, because you know, I was playing in the ACC, and you know, a kid come from the projects, and you know, I made it to a school like Wake Forest.
Rogers left Wake Forest after 3 years and took his game to the pros after the Denver Nuggets took him as the 9th pick in the 1993 NBA draft. He played 12 seasons for 7 teams and won the 6th Man of the Year award in 2000. Even though he could have continued his NBA career, Rogers decided to retire in 2005 and return to his hometown. After talking with NBA legend Karl Malone about his trucking business, he started one of his own, and then surprisingly, took a job with the Durham Public Works Department.
It was like, why is he working for the city? He done lost all his money or this or that, you know, making up stuff. And I said, you know, something for me to do to stay busy.
Even though he grew up in the city, Rodney was an outdoorsman. He loved hunting, fishing, and riding dirt bikes. It was on a bike ride in late November 2008 that the Durham Bull's life changed forever.
I've been riding dirt bikes ever since I was maybe 11 years old. And my wife begged me not to go out that day.
I had this like nervous, anxious type of anxiety type of thing. And I felt like something was gonna happen.
I told her, I said, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go out and ride for a little while, I'll be back. We took off riding, Me and the buddy, we was racing up the hill around the curve. And I ain't never seen that ditch before. I got to it so fast I couldn't even really hit the brakes, and by the time I hit it, it bucked me over the handlebars.
Yeah, we hit the bump and he flipped over and he landed all the way up there and just kind of rolled over on his back and was just laying there.
When they came over and asked me, was I all right? I was like, nah. I said, I think I done messed up, man. I said, my wife gonna kill me. They was like, what's wrong? I said, man, I done broke my neck.
He started getting scared and feel like he's finna die. He can't catch his breath, and he was, just kind of wheezing and stuff like that, and I knew it was pretty serious.
I went in and I talked to him, and he was like, baby, don't be mad, don't be mad. And I'm like, are you serious right now? I said, you just try to make it through, try to live.
I was just thinking, not to him. He's too strong, he'll overcome it. And I went in and I put my hand on his shoulder, expecting him to open his eyes. And it was then that I realized he had no feeling in his shoulders or his arm.
Rodney had broken C3 and C4 vertebrae in his neck. After a week at Duke Hospital, he was flown to the Shepherd Center in Atlanta.
I would say that sort of sets the stage of where he was, is that everything had changed for him, even the simple things like maintaining his heart rate and his blood pressure, and he was dealing with potentially a very different life moving forward.
I remember walking the door, and obviously all these tubes are coming in and out of them, and you just look back at it and you're thinking, of all people, it couldn't have been this guy. Just to have a guy who just barely did a push-up and had that kind of body, just to see how it was gone.
And I will always say, please, for me, just come back. I don't care how you are. I'll take you however you come. And I think that's what got him through.
3 months after the accident, the Durham Bull returned to his hometown. Faye, who was his fiancée at the time of the accident, didn't know what was ahead, but knew they would be together.
I have my good days and my bad days about it. Sometimes I get down, but I try not to because I don't want to bring her down.
We were in a dark place, both of us. He would say, I can't make it. He said, Faye, you're still young, you can go. And I was like, Rodney, I can't do nothing without you. And I said, Rodney, well, if you don't want to be here, I don't want to be here. Let's just commit suicide. Let's just both go together. He said, no, we can't do that. So me doing that is what made him say no, and then when he said it to me and I said no, that kind of brought us together. We just hung in there together and we just talked to each other and we got through it.
I'm grateful to have someone like her on my side. I love her to death, and I know she loves me to death, and she gonna do whatever it takes to make sure that I get what I need so I can stay alive for a long time.
Rodney and Faye got married in December 2010, 2 years after the accident. With round-the-clock care, Rodney tries to lead as normal life as possible.
We both know how hard it is just for him to live. And my whole thing was, I want my husband to have a quality life, and he wants me to have a quality life through everything that we're going through. And my life is beautiful.
Doctor only gave me a 5% chance of walking again, but I think it should be higher than that, because the way I feel and I spaz and stuff, I just think that, hopefully one day I'll be back on my feet.
That's what he holds on to. He doesn't give in to there's a big chance you won't ever improve. He looks at it, if there's any chance at all, that's what I'm going to wake up and think about each and every day.
You know, my motto is when I come to the hole, you're either going to block it or I'm going to dunk on you. So I got to get back to that point. You know, just take it one day at a time and, you know, try to get back to being a Durham Bull again. But, you know, they trying to get somebody else my name, but I told them ain't but one Bull in Durham, and that's me.